The packaging on this facial mask said stress soothing, I believe. It burns. It is burning my face off. I don't know what part of burning your face off soothes stress, but I'm kind of feeling like I was lied to. Can I sit? May I sit? How about you sit on me? Here we go. Hi! Morning, afternoon, evening, whatever other time of day it may be. I promised you guys some dog videos, so here you go. I'm going to start with my old man. As some of you may know, this is Hunter. He is my 19-year-old. He is the most recent addition to the travel family, but has been in my family since he was a puppy. He was born in February of 1999, and my mom brought him home, and so basically I grew up with him, and eventually I moved out, as adults do. But I was visiting my mom and everybody, all of her pups, in January, and I really started feeling a connection with Hunter, one that I hadn't felt before, and he reminded me of a hospice foster that I had that I lost a couple years ago, and I had been missing a part of myself ever since she passed, because she had a huge impact on me, and Hunter just had this something about him that reminded me of her. And so I asked if I could borrow him for the RTR in January of this year, and my mom said sure. So he came with me, and he did amazingly. He had so much energy and was walking around and saying hi to everybody, and just a part of him that we haven't seen in quite some time came out again. And a part of me that was really broken started to feel a little better. And so after a long conversation with my mom, we decided that for both me and Hunter, it would be very beneficial for both of us to be able to spend boring story, get to spend some time together. So he's been traveling with us ever since, and I am so grateful to have him with us, and I think he's pretty excited about it too. He wakes up every morning with just such joy and just bounces around and follows me everywhere. He has this thing where if I leave the van, he has to leave the van, so I always have to put him down and he'll follow me, and then if I come back to the van, he just bolts to the van and tries to jump in, which he can't do. I'm going to have to figure out some kind of ramp situation that I can fold up and put away when we're not using it, but I think it would be very beneficial for all of us for him to be able to zoom in and out of the van without having to wait for me to pick him up and put him in. And I would also like it if when my back wasn't turned, he wasn't flying out of the van by himself. It's not good for dachshunds to jump in and out of things. It's hard on their backs, and especially at 19 years old, I'm not trying to have him hurt himself. So get on me about that. I gotta get on me about that. I have to build him a ramp, because this little man is gonna make it to 25 and above if I have any say in it. So yeah, that's a little bit of backstory on Hunter. And then there was Pip. Pip has been ruining my life since October 30th, 2013. That's right, almost 5 years. Did you know our 5-year anniversary was coming up? Did you remember? Consider this your reminder. Yeah, I'm reminding you. You better get me something nice. I love this dog. We have a complicated history. I'm not a fluffy little white dog person. Like, I like them, but I've never considered myself one to adopt one. My first 3 dogs were dachshunds. And when my 3rd dachshund passed, I was in line. I had a meeting set up to meet another dachshund. I adopt seniors. My first dachshund I had for 15 years, but the other 2 after that, and the 3rd I was planning on adopting, were all senior dogs. The 2 after my first were both 11 when I got them. So I was in line for, I believe, a 12-year-old dachshund. And I had a meeting set up, but of course it wasn't until the weekend, and I had some free time. So, silly me, I went to the shelter down the road from where I worked, and just to see what they had. There were a lot of people there. I've been to the shelter numerous times, adopted from them a few times, and never have I seen so many people there. Which is why it was very strange to me that no one was looking at this dog. He was only 8 at the time, and he was very calm, and he was just sitting by the front gate, like the little fenced off area, just waiting for someone to acknowledge that he existed. But people were just going to all the yappy chihuahuas, and I was just like, this is madness. Who wants that? Why is that a cute thing? To each their own, I suppose. So I walk up to him, and he just comes up to the gate, and he just leans up against it, and I scratch his butt, and he's like, oh yeah, that's what I like. And I was like, all right, man, you're pretty cute. So he was a stray. They knew who the owners were. They called them to say that they had them, and he was on hold. He had shelters do 10-day holds on strays so that it gives the owners a chance to come and take them before they adopt them out to somebody else. But they had called his owners, and nobody responded. Nobody wanted to pick him up. But for me, I was like, I already have this dachshund lined up. I have to go meet her. So if it doesn't work out, maybe I'll come back and get ya. I didn't say maybe. I told him I'd come back and get him if the dachshund didn't work out. So I went to meet the dachshund, loved her, wanted to take her home, but they decided to go with the other family that wanted to take her because they already had another dachshund and they wanted her to have a friend. And I was like, if I would have known that, I would have told you I was coming back for this guy. But I stayed true to my word, and I came back, and I took him home with me, and he'll be, I don't know when his exact birth date is, but I count his adoption day as his birthday. So 13, 5-year anniversary, and 13 years old. We're so excited. Look how excited he is. Wow. So excited. And then there's Chloe. Chloe was the first dog I ever took in as a foster. Thank you. Can I tell the story? Can I tell the story? Huh? Can I tell your story? Thank you. I love you too. Oh, your breath is stinky, girl. Okay. Stop. I'm trying to tell your story. Don't you want them to know your story? You're such a punk. Chloe doesn't do interview face very well. Foster. I was volunteering at a rescue, and they put out a shout out saying that they found this dog that had been adopted at 8 weeks and then brought back 2 years later, dumped off because they had overfed her and got her up to 130 pounds. That's right, Chloe. You used to be 130 pounds. Not only that, she had skin cancer, from being laid out in the sun, and she's got the light skin, so there you have it. And 2 busted knees, one torn ACL, and one of the bones behind her knee had ground a hole into her actual kneecap. And so that was just popping in and out, so very painful. In order for her to get the surgery, she needed to get down to at least 65 pounds. And at the rescue itself, they just fed her properly, and she lost 40 pounds. So that makes her at 90 pounds. Well, now she needs exercise, which is very hard to do when both of your legs are very painful. So they did a shout out saying, we need a foster. And I said, pick me! And they did. They picked me. So we started off with just little walks around the yard, and then a walk up past one of the neighbors' houses and then back, and then 2 neighbors' houses and back, and slowly but surely, over several months, we were able to get her down. I say we because I had some friends helping when I was at work. We got her down to 65 pounds, and she had her first surgery, and that went well. It started taking. She got the ACL surgery first, so that went well. And the doctor said that it would be best if she had the surgeries done at the same time, like one after the other. After she started getting to a certain point of recovery for the first one, we should do the other one. And so the rescue didn't have the money for it, so we did some fundraising, got the money for it, and had her second surgery done. Well, during the recovery, the ACL fix didn't take. So she needed a third surgery. At this point, the rescue has no money to do that. And it was going to be a long time before she could get fixed. And that didn't sit well with me. It didn't sit well with my mom. And it wasn't expected to be such a long fostering. It was over a year, and my business started booming, and I started having to do a lot more work. And so my mom and I decided to adopt her together. And in the times that I couldn't keep her because I was working so much, my mom would take her. And so she ended up living with my mom for a couple years. And once I was able to get employees to take over, and I also had an amazing roommate who was able to help me, I brought her back home. She's doing very well. She is my youngest. I believe her birthday is in September. They had that information because she was adopted and then returned to the same place and then rescued from that place. So they had all that information. So she's a September baby. So she's 9 now. And I love her with all my heart. What are you doing, Pip? Huh?